Good morning. I'm Susan Wolf, and I am dressed in my gardening clothes because we're going to be planting our tree after the service in honor of Earth Day, and it is an autumn blaze maple, so it'll be really colorful and pretty in the fall too. And so I would like to welcome you to Unity Church of Ames this morning. And our chaplain for today will be Steve Noel. He'll be available to pray with you in the prayer room from 11:30 to 11:50. And we'd love it if you would join us for treats in the community room after the service today. Now, if you'll please join me for an opening prayer. Divine, loving Spirit, we gather today, this Sunday. Excuse me. That was last week's. We rest and relax in your holy presence this morning. Spirit, these beautiful spring days make it easy to imagine your potential. In honor of Earth Day 2017, we imagine a greener world. Thriving, loving, living, and an abundant world. When I plant a seed, I lovingly imagine what it will be. If I plant an oak, I imagine that it will become a mighty oak. But the seed is programmed to become the form that it will be. Spirit, this morning we will plant not only a tree, we plant a mental mustard seed for an earth we would like to live on, and we exercise great faith. Faith in you, faith in ourselves, and through the Christ Spirit in us, we go forward and create a better world. So it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Now for today's lesson with our own Podraza-Nagle, the spiritual light of imagination, vision.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Did anybody want to just kind of spin around while you were singing that song? My imagination. Yeah, it's a very nice song. Thank you. I just can't get it to be quiet now. Oh my. So I was sitting down there, and the lesson for the day was the power of vision, the light of imagination. I was sitting over there, and I was reading this. Through the power of God in the midst of you, you can do all things. How interesting. How interesting. You can do all things. Imagination, conception, vision. Oh yeah. Let me show you. What does it mean to have the power of vision? Through that gift, that embodiment that we have of imagination. Linda Martello writes it in her book, Divine Audacity. The candle just hit me. Okay, seriously. Okay. The visioning power of imagination is our capacity to dream of what has not yet manifested, to flesh out an idea, and to feel the benefit of it in advance of its fulfillment. We stand in the light of imagination and power of vision every day. And what does this look like? Many of us, I'm going to give some examples, many of us carry around the fruit of that visioning power. Here's a couple of examples. In 1964, this item made its first appearance on a science fiction plot. It was called The Communicator. Star Trek. They flipped it open and they said, "Beam me up, Scotty." We watched that show as kids and as reruns as kids, going, wow, that would be awesome to be able to do that. So what do we have today? We have expanded past, actually, the flip phone, and now we have smartphones. This was a vision of imagination and science fiction. It was like, wow. And I'm waiting for the transporter, guys. I really am. In 1952, this newspaper comic strip introduced a two-way wrist radio. Anybody? Dick Tracy. And what do we have now? We have Apple smartwatches that we can link to our cell phones and we can talk through our watch. Imagination, vision. We saw that comic strip and we went, wow. Not in a million years. That's wild. Oh, if we only could. Well, folks, it's real today. Some others who used their visioning power. Myrtle Fillmore, co-founder of Unity. We all know her story, or most of us do. She healed herself of a chronic illness. She heard the words, "I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness." She took those words in heart and was healed. Anybody hear of Bill Gates and Paul Allen? Microsoft. Awesome, awesome. Martin Luther King Jr., he had a dream we all carry in our hearts today. All men are created equal. Louis Pasteur, in honor of our sciences. Smallpox, rabies vaccines, and the pasteurization of milk. Jonas Salk, the polio vaccine. You hardly ever hear about polio in the Western Hemisphere. We've practically eradicated it. The power of imagination, the power of vision, and scientific research. But still, they had to have that vision that it could be done. And then there was the one who used his fully developed imagination and visioning power. Jesus the Christ, our Master Wayshower. He told us, "Very truly I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and in fact will do greater works than these." We so often forget about this, but think about this a minute. Think about a time when a teacher said to you in similar words, "Believe what I'm telling you." They stood up at the chalkboards. I think they're now whiteboards. And they wrote up there, 2 + 2 = 4. And then they showed you. Jesus the Christ did the same thing. Believe in what I'm telling you, and you can do the same thing that I do and greater works. From first graders to football players, teachers and coaches, do what I'm doing, and you can do great things. Imagination, vision. Great teachers bring that out of students. We all have it. It's inherent. Sometimes we put it down and forget and go over here and pay some bills, play with our grandchildren, walk the dog. And then the dog wants to play ball, so then we envision a good dog bringing the ball back so that we don't have to not only fetch but go get it, because the dog's going, "Okay, now what?" Or that grandchild who wants to draw, wants to color, wants to make something with Play-Doh. wants to go for a hike in the woods. And then they start imagining and using their vision. Remember when you did that? Cowboys and Indians, cops and robbers, playing house with their little stove and play kitchen sink. Tonka trucks. Ooh. Me and the neighbor boys, we were going to dig to China one day because we wanted to play with somebody on the other side of the world. Our hole got pretty deep, and then it rained. Divine audacity states, in metaphysical understanding, creation occurs by the union of the head and the heart. You ever notice how sometimes we think about something and we'll get around to it? And 2 weeks passed and we still haven't gotten around to it. We have this imagining power. Yeah, I think I'll start that garden. I'm going to clean out that bed and we can start putting some plants in there and water it and fertilize it. And then we get distracted, and that's as far as it goes. And 2 weeks later, the bed is still there. The garden plot is still barren. And oh. We used our intellect. We knew we were going to do it. But we forgot to take the 18-inch walk down to our heart and follow through. It was fleeting. Or we just got distracted. So bring together that head and the heart and vision. Vision, what that look like. What can be. We have smartphones. We have computers. We have vaccines that control debilitating diseases way back in the day. We have master gardeners that plant trees. What can be. When we hold a potent idea in mind, develop it by imagining it fleshed out into manifestation, and feel the thrill of fulfillment while incubating the idea in mind. Okay, it's a grown-up version of let's pretend. But think about this. Something that you didn't think you could possibly do. I can't be a licensed unity teacher. I don't think I'll ever make a good mom. Think about it. How would that feel? Being a teacher. I think it would be fun. It would be challenging. I'd be taught a lot by my students. It's not just a teacher teaching, but students also teach teachers, and I think we have enough professors and teachers in here that can vouch for that. They get a lot out of their students, their passion. Gardeners, they get a lot out of gardening. It's not a one-way street. When you put that union in there and you give, it comes back. Because the law of mind action is you give and it comes back. You give and it comes back. When you get a hug, you get a hug. When you give a smile, I've done that one before. I've done a talk on smiling, and I smiled at everybody, and everybody smiled back. It's a contagious thing. Visioning, imagination. Yes, see? What does that feel like? What does that look like? It felt really nice to get a smile back. It was very heartfelt when students feedback on classes And they're aha moments when you see the light goes on. When you envision a garden, or then when you remodel your home, or your wife goes, oh, we need new curtains, and then after the curtain comes the painting, and then after the painting comes the new rug, and then when you get a new rug, you get furniture. Ladies, isn't that imagination and visioning at its finest? It happens. And it's not just material things. It happens inward too. Really, it does. When you envision yourself happy, when you hold on to that vision, I choose to be the light of God expressing my Christ self today, and I will be happy. I will be happy. You find yourself walking a little lighter. You find yourself smiling at people you never thought about smiling at before. You even might meet new friends. It's an inward job, and it comes outward, and you just glow. And it's a wonderful thing. Having vision. Now that I've given some examples and started the thought process within you of thinking and visioning from head to heart, consider how much you have stood in the light of imagination and activated your power of vision. What are some of the fruits of your head and heart? Your manifestations brought forth by this inherent gift. I've stoked the fire in you. Think about it. Think about it. Musicians. Did you think about your music, hear the melody in your heart and head, and feel the rhythm, picturing what it would feel like to actually hear it with your ears? Those of you who have taught, you envisioned what it would be like to share knowledge and enjoy the connectedness of eye-opening wonders to students. Some of you always knew you wanted to teach, to share ideas, and to watch others expand their education. Some teachers find it hard to retire because they're so, not just dedicated, but it's just so much fun. Regardless of how the school district chooses to run the system. Farmers and gardeners, you use that visioning power to plant gardens, flowers, and to cultivate and harvest. Well, I think I'll put the potatoes over here, and the tomatoes will go here. Oh, and won't the corn look pretty in this raised bed just above the eggplant? You envision how you want that raised bed. You envision where you want to put the tree. And me, I sat there going, well, it's not going to be in the way of drainage plumbing for the church, is it? Oh, my head. We here at Unity of Ames Church have an angel garden, and every year we hold the power of vision to harvest wonderful crop of veggies to share. We and our master gardeners hold it in prayer. We add a little sweat, mix in a little muscle, and it has and will continue to be an extraordinary plot of goodness. Yes. Do we envision a bounty of veggies? Do we envision the tomatoes coming up, and the zucchini coming up, and the lettuce, and I think we had spinach, kale. We had some leafy things in there. But we envision that coming up. The evidence is real. Really. So let's give thought for a moment that yesterday was Earth Day. And after the service today, we are going to plant a tree in honor of our Earth. And I recently found out that there's a plant in Rev Deb's office that has a name. Could somebody, I forgot the name. Audrey. We have a plant by the name of Audrey in the office. And then I was looking at that tree going, Does our tree need a name? I just thought it was, it just makes it personal, don't you think? What can we individually vision for our tree? And the earth surrounding it. The tree, as it grows, becomes more connected by the root system that expands outward and deeper, and the branches and leaves that rise up toward the warmth and brightness of the sun. And don't we do the same thing? Just as this tree will embrace its new home, let us consider our commitment to our home and our planet. We are rooted here, and we grow also. This is our environment. Using our power of vision, consider what more can we do for our earth. Standing in the light of imagination, what is it that you can bring to manifestation to enhance your yard, your garden, your environment, your home, where you live, where you work, wherever you may be? My husband and I, we have 5 organic raised beds. And we said no to pesticides. So we have this wonderful aromatic fish fertilizer. Seriously, folks, it's fishy. And it stays for about 2 days, but it's organic because I don't want chemicals in my food. I don't want chemicals in the soil. So I can pretend I'm in the ocean when I go out in the backyard because it smells so fishy. Remember, the visioning power of imagination is our capacity to dream of what has not yet manifested. Nothing is off limits. Remember the communicators? Sci-fi at its finest. And now we have smartphones. We have computers. Polio was practically eradicated. What is your one thing that just on the edge of your head, think your thought process? Reel it in with your imagination and visualize it. Very truly I tell you, the one who believes in me will also do the works that I do, and in fact, do greater works than these. Affirm in consciousness what can be. And let's hold that consciousness, that conscious thought as we sing our way into meditation or imagination. Relax where you're at. And take a moment and consider imagination. I breathe into the center of my brain between my ears and eyes. I flood my brain with light, the color of the midday cloudless sky, the palette of spiritual imagination. Every breath I take, I release leaves floating. And in the open sky of possibility, they fall. Nothing can weigh me down. Nothing can inhibit the free expression of my divine imagination. Soaring in an infinite space, all things are possible. What can be, can be. The marvelous idea I have grasped fleshes out as a vision and purpose. Like a seed planted in the ground and watered, this idea is nurtured by my power of vision. I envision the fully formed blossom now, while the seed remains in the deep womb of possibilities. Let's take a moment to realize what can be in the silence and vision, imagination. What can be, can be. That light of imagination, that power of vision. I have eyes to see the good path ahead of me. Whatever seems impossible by my power of imagination, I declare all things are possible. And so it is. So now everybody has that vision. Don't forget what that vision is. Hold it. Hold on to it.
surrounds us